We just got gas.
What's that?
Oh, that's a freaking grackle.
Yes!
We just got gas leaving Dodge City. What was our trip?
We had 451 miles since the last fill up.
It's pretty good. We did quite a bit of driving yesterday.
I have a note on Kansas. It is pretty humid here. Like, I was not expecting this. Like, loading the car and like sweating, dripping.
Yeah, I was expecting more of a dry heat, not a humid heat. So that's interesting. But today we've got quite a bit of stops on our list. We're gonna go see the Strataca, which is like this underground, 650 feet underground salt mine museum. Super cool. We're gonna go to Old Cowtown in Wichita, learn about some Wild West stuff. We're gonna drive through Lensborg, which is this very Swedish town. And then we've got a night on a lake at Milford State Park.
Night on the lake.
We're excited. I forgot to say how much we spent on gas. We got about 10 gallons of gas for a little under $34. So glad to be out of Wyoming, Colorado, because they have expensive gas over there.
Okay, I don't think our range is going to get much better than this, but we've driven 102.4 miles since we filled up, and our range is still 553 miles. So that means we could possibly drive on this straight-ass Kansas road for 650 miles. That's a crazy range, considering my tank, I think, is like 12 gallons.
It's less. It's like 11. Yeah. Kansas driving.
We made it to the salt mine at Strataca. We're about to go down. We almost missed our tour, but luckily we made it just in time, including bathroom break.
Good thing we both came down.
650 feet.
And watch yourself, we're gonna be sliding the door open there along the wall. You'll get out, watch your step, and go to the left.
Just kidding, not allowed. It took 1.6 million years to form, and it's 270 million years old. Oh, it's like sandy.
I feel salt. Also, don't rub your eyes.
Ooh, this feels kind of unusual. Kind of like salty almost, does that make sense?
Oh, yeah, totally.
Kind of like if you go to the beach and then you get out of the water. So this is the original height of the roof here, 6 feet, when they started digging. I guess I'm just like astronaut. This would not be my job. 1 cubic foot of loose salt weighs about 70 to 80 pounds, but jumps to 135 pounds when it's in pure crystal form. This giant block here weighs 6,000 pounds. Okay, so there's this ancient embayment that was kind of the oceans. The southern part in New Mexico and Texas had massive reefs and lagoons that were home to over 250 species of fish, sharks, and invertebrates. But the north, however, kind of the part that we're in, it's kind of similar to the Dead Sea, which is far too salty to harbor any life but a few strains of bacteria. The water became so salty, so saline, that the salt precipitated out of the water onto the seafloor, which has started forming the salt beds that we're standing in. So this little spot is an example of when miners would finish mining an area. They would leave their initials or their names. It looks kind of creepy on camera. Okay, so here's some of the cars that the miners would ride down in. Here's some even graffiti from one of the miners. That says 18. But they would sign these with the idea that they were kind of signing their death certificate, and they would dismantle these cars, these transportation cars, when they got to the bottom of the mine and pull them into pieces into the mine. And then they'd weld them, stick weld them back together for all their rides. So most of this equipment had to be reassembled underground. And you can see even like these huge, whatever this is, had to have really low clearance because the walls were only like 6 feet tall. You guys see Mike Rowe in the back there? He actually came to this mine for one of his Dirty Jobs episodes.
Total darkness. Willie Miller has been working in the salt mine more than 30 years. He likes to sing to himself as he drives along. Willie is a general laborer, which means he can do a lot of jobs now.
Here's a kind of funny exhibit. Miners would leave their trash down here because it's a lot more efficient, and it was so well preserved because of the properties of salt, and there's really like no pests or anything down here. They specifically used flat tires instead of tires with the little skid things in them because sharp rocks and stuff would get caught in here and be more likely to pop the tires. The reason that these tires kind of suck though is because they don't do as well with heat, so they would get bubbles on the outside, and people would carry sticks to like poke them. They'd stand in their machines in case the tires blew. I read this over there next to the engine, and they would poke the bubbles out. Yeah, and for the record, apparently I read that no tires ever blew, and most of them you could still use after you pop the bubbles.
Yeah, they look pretty thick tires.
Yeah. Shout out to all the microbiologists out there. And some of the salt, they purified some sort of like extract, and they revived some old bacteria that's related to a Dead Sea bacteria. Peek in. Oh, I can see you. Okay, so it turns out the salt mine also is home to 2 other companies other than the active salt mine people. There's the people who keep records, including like birth certificates and all sorts of things. Oh my God, look at that scary thing in the background. And there's also a set of costumes, like movie theater things. And so that's kind of what we're gonna see here. Oh, I see the Superman guy in the back. Here's that part of the tour where all the old people joke about how all the young people don't recognize any of this stuff. Like, what is this thing? Look at that. All sorts of records. See all the way. Just strange things, not Stranger Things.
Jonathan, your next ride is going to be at HC. Handicap.
Okay, we're getting on the train. It rocks a little bit for sure. We're in the front car. We're gonna see the most wildlife, as in 0 versus 0.
Attention please. As we get ready to start our journey into the mine, remember, for your safety, you must remain seated at all times. Keep your hands and feet inside the train, and do not raise your hands above the top of your head. All aboard! Salt Mine Express.
Pause, play the same button, and stop. Watch out for the record button because you will record over your audio. All right, folks, everybody go take it. Everybody's got a chance to put their seatbelts on. No, you're all good to go. Okay, so there are no seatbelts. All righty, everybody ready to go? All right, let's go have some fun.
Yeah.
So.
On the platform are a couple of two-thumbed gloves. In the 1940s, when this area was being mined, everyone conserved materials for the war effort. The miners would wear the gloves until they wore out the palms. Then they would wear them on the opposite hands, using the second set of thumbs until they wore out the backs of the gloves. Now, stories have been told that Mr. Carey, the owner of the Carey Salt Mine, was always after the miners to pick up their trash and not contaminate the salt. Well, apparently a miner rolled up these gloves and stuffed them in a blasting hole, because that's where we found them 60 years later. We consider all these items to be artifacts, which only proves one person's trash is another's treasure.
Campbell's soup can.
Beef noodle. There's the Hershey's.
Coke bottle.
In case you were wondering, trash isn't the only thing miners left underground. And apparently this area was used as a restroom. Oh, no fancy porta pots here. And they weren't very careful with the toilet paper either. And this is one reason we say, don't lick the salt.
Does anyone know what direction we're heading?
South.
Well, okay, if no one does, we're going south. So if you are very tall, please watch your head.
Okay, it's time to mine for our own salt. Finding some good pieces. Palm size is our largest. Is this palm sized? Does that fit in your bag?
Could, yeah.
No, maybe.
Quickly rinse it off in some water, and then set it on a towel or paper towel to dry. And then you can, if you want to seal it, you can put a clear coat acrylic on it, and that'll seal it.
Show me the helmet hair. Oh, it's so bright.
Yeah.
I can't even see anything. Here we go, next stop. Let's see some historical sites. Ooh, stop one. Hello, little kitty. Hello. Can I pet you? Can I pet you? Maybe? Oh. What year were you established? Okay, so we're about to head in the saloon for a quick sarsaparilla. This guy, Mr. Snitzer, was apparently the most generous one in town. He'd go to lengths to make sure everybody was at home in his home. Let's see the inside. It's nice and chilled in here.
During the 1800s, sarsaparilla was made from sassafras and birch oil. It was a potent medicine used to cure headaches, indigestion, and other ailments. Hope you've enjoyed the modern soda pop version here at Old Cowtown.
Smells like horses. One-room schoolhouse here.
Big red bird out on the edge of the street.
Oh, bright red. James is super excited because we just saw our first cardinal. We think it's a cardinal, but can't see it too well. Definitely not in the camera. Definitely a cardinal. We're like trying to rush through because we got in just before they stopped letting people in. But I mean, you gotta stop for the birds, right? Ooh, really old table saw. I would not want to use that. That's a hearse. This is just like, you see that guy staring at us? And just like waiting. I bet it is Gil. This is his mortuary. Just like waiting for something bad to happen. So next building over from the mortuary, we've got printing. One block has it all. All the different kinds of hats that you could get made for you in this store. What can I get you today, sir?
Like a hat.
You want a hat? You already have a hat. You're wearing one.
A fancy hat?
Okay, so this is a grain elevator. Tell us how it works.
Well, so I imagine you pull this little thing and grain comes out of this chute. So farmers would bring their stuff here, their grain, and it would be stored for future loading onto a railway. And also come and buy grain here by driving it in here, pulling the lever, getting the grain.
This was back in the day when it was 10 cents for a beefsteak. We paid a little bit more than that last night. But still cheaper than Oregon. So when home refrigeration first became a thing, they would take big chunks of ice and put them in these like wooden boxes that are lined with zinc or tin. And they would put them with like seaweed or sawdust. And then you'd stick all your fresh meat in there.
Whoa, this is the store.
This is the general store. You want a jug? We got you jugs. You want China? We got China. Need a gun? That's here too. How about some cute little shoes for your baby? Right there. There's our safe back there. It's pre-cracked for us, so all we need is a way in. For real. Do you think that's a bar for like short people?
It's a bar to lean in on.
Lean in, like the Wild West style.
Yeah, exactly.
We found a little bit of a hill in Kansas and also some greenery. It's a little bit tree-ish in this valley, but still mostly just like plains and grass and cows. This is all of Milford Lake. And where are we?
Right here, just above Milford State Park.
Okay, we're sneaking up on a vulture. Here we go. Get some of this bluebird. It's like metallic blue. There's fish just like flopping around. It's so full of fish here, and there's giant dragonflies, and we already saw bugs. And oh look, there's another vulture. Okay, kind of. We also saw frogs.
Turtle?
Oh yeah, we think we saw a turtle. Okay.
No, we know.
We know we saw a turtle. Damn it! There it goes. Fly back around. Oh God, there's another one.
I got him.
Nice. That's a firefly against our tent. Okay, so we came inside because as soon as we turned on our light, bugs covered our books, and you can see they're just like flocking to us now inside the tent. And like, let's look up here. They're just everywhere. I might be holding my bladder through the night.